Hey guys and gals, welcome back to the second installment of the Dried Flower Centerpiece by Lego Icons. This is the Botanical Collection. Set number 10314 contains 812 bricks. So in the last installment, we did bags 1 and 4, 2 and 5 because they almost were pretty similar. And there is some subtle differences, so bags 1 and 4 are the same, but 2 and 5 do have some, some slight variations at the end. So this is pretty much what we've done here, and I don't know which one was which. Now I want to get on to bag 3. I think 3 and 6 are pretty close to similar, but I don't want to jinx that up. So let me get 3 keyed up here, and we will get started. Now, that doesn't look too bad, doesn't it? Well, let's see. And yes, there's a lot of flowers in there too. So yeah. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get going here. Now I can look at 6 and start building part of it, but we're just going to go ahead and just do one at a time in the second installment here. And I had to take a break for about 20 minutes, let my hands cool down a bit because it was just kind of dragging out. So we'll get going on here and see what we got. And yeah, the color scheme on this is a bit kind of, well, it's not really exciting, you know. It's pretty much subtle, more like fall colors than anything else. And I hear the phone go ringy ringy. Well, I am not answering that right now because I am filming this. And I want it done. I want it done and I want it now. And no, it's not Mr. Vane either. Alright, we got a bunch of these going on here. And the whole goal about in this installment is to finish up the project, do a rough review, and then I'm going to do the final review. This one's pretty easy. It doesn't need a vase or anything. It just sits on the table. We'll put it on a turntable, just do a 360 spin, and talk about my build experience. That's essentially what I'm going to do. And nothing more exciting than doing stuff that has vomit colors. Yeah, so not really my cup of tea here, but I'm kind of wanting to get into a tutorial, and I need to get off my buns and place an order for the parts to finish up the remainder of the tiny house tutorial, and I'm going to try to get that done by fall. I'm no big hurry to get that done, but I got another travel trailer I'd like to build first and do that as a tutorial. And they'll got to do some flowers there. Okay. So let's just get this out of the way first, and then we will do the fun stuff. Yeah, the camera's starting to sing again with that grinding noise. Hopefully one day I can find a really good suitable replacement for it. So I don't know if these are exact or not from bags, like bag 3 and 6. I don't know how close they are, but I'm not going to risk it. And sticking that in the bottom of that is almost impossible. So how do I get that in there? There's not even any plates in here to put that on. I'm going to set this on a brick separator first, and then I'm going to just go ahead and set this on here. That made it a lot easier. And just wiggle that off. And so basically now well, this is kind of confusing. Okay, we got to make 4 of these, and just basically we cake it on with flowers. All right. These are earth green. They're different than what I usually have, so probably the only bright color in this set, that and the orange. Everything else is just kind of muted. Because the other one I did was pretty fun. This one's kind of... This will be one that's going to be released later. And now on my phone recorder, I'm labeling the audio tracks, as I'm starting to get confused and like which ones go where, because I'm doing, like I said, I multitask and I do a bunch of other videos as well as do other voice memo stuff. And yes, I'm hoping that I can just kind of, you know, keep that more in mind here. I had all this other stuff planned and I'm doing reviews again. I don't think the next review is not going to be in for a few weeks, so let me just get these out of the way, and then I can get back to the castle, because the castle, it doesn't matter. I can take breathers on that, because the castle was released in, I think, in August 2022, and I can just slow down on that one and just take my time. And it's not required. There's no deadline to have that one done. Just get it done and have fun with it. And just trying to have a little time away from the Lego stuff. Now, don't get me wrong though, this is supposed to be fun, but when I have deadlines, I consider this kind of like a job. This has to be done. So this just has to be finished here. And I think this one flower is just meant as a spacer down here, and then these other ones just get plopped into the 4 remaining holes. I need to get some more of these cool yellow flower pieces. Those are pretty cool to have. And you get more and you're just going to have to wiggle them in place. And these are actually 1/8 of a ball. So you can actually make a full ball bush out of this. I don't know what you do with it, but it'd be pretty cool. There we go. And then the stud portions go in here. Just now, there's no other way to put that in there, so how do you do it? You just have to wiggle it in place. Okay. And then we got to dole it up with some olive green leaf pieces here. And yeah, I mean, it's that's what it is. You know, just get those on there real quick, and then it goes on here, I guess, to hide the gray thing up. It'd be nice if that was a nice dark green, but now we got to make it look kind of nasty looking here. Oh, there was another piece we had to put here. I just noticed it. It just sticks up like that. Okay, some of this stuff. So yeah, I may have made a mistake when I did the other bags. So now when you do this, bags 1 and 4 are definitely the same. And then you get 2 bags, 2 and 4, or 2 and 5, I believe. Just kind of note that they're not quite identical, and that's pretty much what it is. So don't do what I did. Okay. So yeah, this set's got a lot of small pieces, so if you're not a fan of these, I don't blame you. They're not the most exciting thing to build. You know, that's just how it is on some of these type of sets. You can, and for the most part, my build experiences on these have been pretty good. But I'm thinking more it's a hit or miss on these botanical sets. Sometimes you'll get a good one, sometimes you won't get a good one. Okay, like that right there. Okay, and it goes right here inside this little hole as well. There we go. I did read one of your comments, though. One of you mentioned you do Lego before bed too, is to decompress. Yeah, that's what I need to do more. Just work-related stuff just kind of bogs you down and makes you not wanting to get up in the mornings. Like, since I've been off, I've been doing a lot more sleeping, because once work starts hitting, that's it. It's just going to be nothing but getting up early and getting things done and going to bed, rinse and repeat. That'll be it. Okay. These small orange cosmos are made with a classic minifigure element, the E-palette, the E-palette. What is that? E-palette. First used for the Pirates theme, Imperial Soldiers, in 1989. Imperial Soldiers. What are they referring to? These. Call them shoulder guards. Okay, we got to build 2 of those. Let's just get going on both of those now. We got plenty of ore pieces, so I think we're building a daisy. One of the sets they had one of the little containers. I don't know how we're doing this one here. So, yeah. And then these go in here. Oh, they just sit in there. And you got to put in, I may need to put the camera over here more so you can see what I'm doing here. And you just don't sneeze or breathe or anything until you get that on there like that. There you go. That's not too bad. So we got to make 2 of those. And I was wondering what these were going to be used for. Now make sure your things are facing upwards. So when you get the second one on there, just let it float on there. You won't be able to force it down or anything like that. Probably the only bright thing in this other than the yellow. And then it's asking for a white stud, an open stud. Ah, now it messed up. There we go. Just wiggle that in there, and we make 2 of these, and they go into here. I'm taking it, this one goes here. And this one probably goes there. They got the arrow covering part of it. Okay, it goes here. Sometimes those arrows, Lego, you gotta have to do what I do and just draw them a little more intricate than that. So that's what it is right there. And we're not done yet. I gotta look for one of those clay pieces and a handle. We've already seen these come off of here, so I don't expect that to stay on too firmly. First I gotta find a little handle piece. It goes in this way. I think the other way would be more secure. And this one here doesn't really show what hole it goes into. I'm assuming it probably goes here. No, it goes on this hole right here. So there we go. And this goes right here. I have a feeling we're going to have to do this all over again for the other one, but I'm just going to stick it like this. It's really not easy to press this down in there, or we could just do it like this. And it's hard to do this on video. You're going to have to just find a way that works for you and just snap it in and hope it stays in. Okay. And well, we're not done with that yet. We still got more greens to put together. It's almost the same thing I'm going to say about halfway through these sets, they get redundant after a while. And this is obviously meant for partners. I mentioned this in the last installment, but I think it's just more the color palette that's just not making this appealing for me. I mean, I'm an adult that likes bright colors. I don't really care much for the soft, smelly colors. There we go. And then this fits in here. I'm just trying to get it to line up right. Well, if it doesn't go in, I'll just turn it sideways and do it like that then. And we got to do more flowers. It's almost the same as what we did before, just slightly different. Now remember, I used the brick separator. I'll set the stud on the brick separator first and set this on there because I can never get those on there. It's easier to do it like this, and then I just come in and wiggle that off. So the brick separator is made to take away or take apart things. Well, I'm putting things together on it. I need something to hold on to the studs here, you know. Now I got to find another one of those hollow studs, and when everything is dark and kind of bland, it's hard to find it. So let me check the spare bin here real quick that I've been hoarding up the parts for. And indeed, we do actually have an extra hollow stud in there. And just keep all your spare pieces. You won't regret it. All right. And now we got to crown off more of these stalks with flowers. So you're going to need to make 4 of these. And yes, you're going to have to fish those on there. That's 24 of those boogers in total. Cool yellow flowers are pretty cool. So I'm going to get a few more of those. Imagine I'm putting those on some of the dark green stems versus earth green. Just adding a few leaves around the bottom. Make a nice little plant for like in front of a house or something, or maybe a garden. Whoops. Yeah, if you don't want to see me do this, you can feel free to fast forward through this. The whole point about I do it, I keep it is for ASMR because some people they like to listen to me talk and stuff like that. So I just kind of just leave it. I leave these all unedited except if I sneeze or I have to cough or something like that. I will edit that out because it's kind of inappropriate at that point to do that. So right now I'm just only editing out just the undesirable noises and stuff like that. The complete bill will just be what we're doing here. And usually they always give you an extra stem. Well, and surprisingly enough, they didn't give me any extra stems for this. You don't even get an extra one of the dark green ones. They usually give you like an extra one. Maybe this is such a very rare color, they're not going to give those away. I've only broke one of these things off one time, so now I'm very careful. I'm putting the flowers on. In fact, I don't think anybody's experienced any breakage with dark greens. I think we're safe with that color. And there we go. I'm going to start in the middle this time. And then I'm just going to place them on there. Like that. And this one just clips onto this bar on this side right here. I'm not sure where that's supposed to go, but it slides around. Maybe it's meant for maybe to readjust it or something. And as a matter of fact, they show it up like that. Really? Let me look here. Am I doing something wrong? Oh, wait a minute. It's on top of the other one. Which one do I grab? Because I did both of these. It's one of these. Here's the leaves here. Okay, this sits right on top because we have the pumpkin. Okay, we have a pumpkin on the other side here. There's that stud right there we were missing. So this is the one we got to use here. Okay. Yeah, best bet is to do these in order. Don't do what I did. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is start swinging things out of the way because I want to push that down really firm first. And then I'm just going to slowly just kind of rock things back into place here. This feels very loose. Like this is ready to fall off, and it did just that. I don't think that clip is really doing its job there. I mean, that's just kind of flopping around. Okay. Okay, 74. We got to put some leaves on here. One of them which is outfitted with a flower. And you're going to have to really wiggle things in. So now this is going to be the part where things could get brittle and fall off. So you may want to just kind of wiggle things in place just to get it in there. And you know, you're going to have to hold your breath when putting this together. And then there's supposed to be a flower, a fringe flower that goes on the top. Okay, that's it. We got plenty of pieces over here, so what does that mean? We're building that. Okay. Seen this in a few other ones that I've done. So take a big steering wheel. This steering wheel is black. Well, if I need to build a car, I have the steering wheel to do it now. That's a big one because I only build minifigure scaled stuff. And we got to make 24 of these. The best thing to do right now is to start mass producing these real quick. And the reason why I'm just going to start producing them now is just so I can lighten up the space on my counter here. And I think this is probably the last one for this bag here. And the wind is still kicking up. What happens if I were to lose power and I couldn't record anymore? What would happen? Let's say the file gets corrupted, and it could happen. What would I do? You know, I probably would just talk about what I did. I wouldn't take it apart and redo it. This channel doesn't get a lot of views to go that extensive, to do that extensive build on that. So if I lose data, that's it. Now, if I had literally millions of subscribers and just literally hundreds of thousands of views, I would probably take the time to do that kind of thing. But with just, I think, what does this channel have? Like, it's under 600 subscribers, and I don't get a lot of views, so I'm not gonna, you know, donate a whole bunch of time if there's a mistake or something like that. It needs to be corrected or needs to be redone. I'm not gonna do that. Versus my main channel, where if it's a tutorial or something like that, yeah, I will take the time to do it correctly. So remember now, we're gonna have to make 24 of these. It says 22, but they're counting the 2 that are on there that we got to put on there first. So instead of just worrying about it, let's just make all 24 of them. This is where it gets repetitious and it gets boring. This ain't like hitting the waves of the Pacific. And there we go. And now we got to put them all on here. And it says start with the side here first. There's a little hole on the bottom of these, so I try to keep the hole at the bottom. Now you flip it over, And you got to put all those on there, and there will literally be no room, so you won't be able to miss it out. So when you put these on here, you do it like that. Like here, there's some space there, but you can't slide that over anymore. So what do? You just have to pack these in really good. So I'm going to keep the spot with the little hole on the bottom, because it's not really appealing, and just start stuffing them in. I think you could tip it up and move it, but see, I can't go any further. Like if I made a mistake, I'm just going to rotate the pedal around. So they're using the boat oars as pedals. I'm assuming this is probably a daisy or something. And I don't think I can fit any more in there. So we're just going to keep going. Now, mind you, we're still on bag 3. So there's not a whole lot of big pieces. There's a bunch of small pieces. You're not getting... Big pieces are easy to do, but when you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's... This 823 piece set, if this was just nothing but big pieces, it'd go pretty quick. I got 3 more left here. Well, I'm really putting these on backwards, huh? I would have put that one on backwards too. It doesn't matter. You could do it any way you want, but okay. Set that on there like that. And you can see we have a bit of a gap in there, so just kind of move things around a little bit. Now, it's a flower, so we're not expecting this to be really perfect. And just going to kind of cup this up here a little bit. I'm assuming that's what they want. And let's see here. And then this goes in the middle here. And how do I pick that up? There's no way to pick that up. There you go. And just kind of do that. And this here sits on that cross axle right there. Let's just kind of get these all set up here. And how do you do that? You're just going to have to set it in there and just braille. See how I'm getting some buckling there? That's not good. So, and one of these just fell off. So yeah, this is what I'm saying here. Something in here caused this to come apart, but you got to be careful with it. So just be very careful. You get it in there and you get it to where it looks decent. Just not touch it. And that's about as best as I'm ever going to get that to look. So that's it. And I think that's it. We got a little information here, and we've seen this before. I've seen it in other manuals here. As you put together the dark red Gardenia, oh, this is a Gardenia, okay. Notice that its petals are made of minifigure ore elements. It's also used as a minifigure hat for the disc. That's what that is, a minifigure hat. And I kind of figured that's what that was. I've seen it in some of the other types of builds, and that's when we're done with this manual here. And so far, by doing booklet 1, it's the build experience, I'd say, is average with this set. It's just things are coming apart a little bit, nothing major, but just to the point of how everything is another issue. Now we're going to move to bag 6, and it looks almost the same. But I wasn't going to risk messing it up and stuff like that. So now let's officially move on to bag 6, which means we need this piece here. We'll slide that one off to the side. I think that one is done for the most part. Now we're just going to do this one right here. Toss that on the ground. And yes, you can tell we almost have the same thing, just a little bit different in elements. So this part here looks like it's the same as what we did before. And first I got to find the small stuff first. I need more of these parabolic reams. I'm looking for one of those round. Okay. Too many little pieces, or just pieces in general. I'm looking for this. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is indeed a little different than the last one. So now I'm glad that I just took my time and broke this down. Okay. So really, when you build this, bags 1 and 4 are just mirrors or reflections. And then you would just do 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7 as, you know, as independent builds. Okay, we got that done there. And this goes here. And yes, I want to do something else than this boring flower thing. And yes, I'm going to say it's boring. And it's getting boring now. It's just, I think honestly, it's just the colors are just making this kind of not too fun. It's a good build. It's just, I would say the build experience is average. And some people don't like my honesty. I had one guy that says he didn't like my videos because I'm always negative and stuff. I'm like, I'm not negative, I'm being honest. And I kind of just told him, like, hey, you know, what you can do, I said, there's other YouTubers out there who do nothing but positive reviews. I said, everything that Lego produces is 100% perfect. I said, if you want good reviews, you come here. If you want something that's filtered and censored and stuff, there's other YouTubers who do that. I don't do that here, you know. And I'm being honest, you know, I'm not going to lie. Some people want me to lie. I'm not going to do that. You guys deserve better than somebody lying to your face saying that this is the best Lego set in the whole wide world. So after bag 6, we have 7. And 7 I don't think was that full of parts. I'm just hoping to have this done real quick so I can film it before because I'm going to fix a dinner tonight and stuff, and kind of want to get that going before, oh, I meant these don't go in here because I'm going to have company. We're going to have tacos tonight, so I'm going to have company over, and I don't want to be like stranded and stuff like that and being like, oh, I'm sorry, guys, I was too busy filming, but you're all going to have to wait. Your stomachs will have to growl. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be a bad host. Okay. Well, I can't wait to share this with my audience. I wonder how many people are going to get mad and go, how dare you, Jane? This is really mean. You're being mean. Your reviews are being really hard. Oh, I know another YouTuber, before he got booted out of the LAN. I only know him. I've never talked to him. His reviews were pretty brutal. Oh, we got to make 3 of these too. So some people are pretty brutal on the reviews. So you got to be careful, you know. I mean, I want a good, honest review. I mean, you know, especially with something. Was your build experience really good with the set? You know, was it something hard? Was it something like this that just completely fell apart? Or maybe I forgot to put the right part on there. But still, I mean, is it something really good? You know, I want an honest review. I don't want something sugar-coated. And I've seen some YouTubers that will go, hey guys and gals, let's review this Lego set. This is going to be 100% positive. Yes, it's not the best build, but it was still fun to put together. Yeah, I don't do those things on here. I'm sorry. I'm not going to throw the fake bubbly personality and just give you something half-baked. You know. Yes, there's guys out there who do that. I'm not going to do that. This is the best thing in the whole wide world. Like this set right here, I'm being honest, the colors are just kind of detracting my interest on this. They're just not, this set's just not really attractive in terms of color-wise, right? And I can just hear somebody say, this is the best color scheme in the whole wide world. No, you know. At least I'm being honest with you. I mean, some people told me they don't like the honesty. And I always have to slightly correct them. And like, well, I'm sorry, but here's this guy. He does nothing but positive reviews. And some of them even says, oh, thank you. I had one guy says, you know, you're losing a sub over this. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I want you to be happy, the viewer, you know. I don't want to just give you some, you know, I can sit here and lie and tell you this is the best set that I'm building in the whole wide world, but it's just average for me. It's average. The build quality seems like it's about average now. It's got some pretty interesting building techniques, but you know, that's what it is. But I'm not going to lie to you. All right, well, I'm kind of confused where these things go, so I'm just going to have to guess. The book doesn't really quite show where they go. I'm assuming this last one goes here, just because it seems like it's more evenly balanced out. And oh, more information, huh? Gotta read that there. The dried daisy heads are constructed with a white crown element and a rare rock element first used as a gold nugget. And they're talking about that lump of clay thing we've been seeing around here. This right here. And, oh yeah. At least here, they're giving us a little history on this. So, even if the build is kind of average to dry on this, at least it's given us some information about what's going on here. And looks like it's right there. You know what? Hold on. It feels like I'm kind of straining over here. So I'm going to just turn the camera for your angle a little bit better now. And this goes in here. Now I'm just going to turn it sideways here and just put that in. That's the best way of doing it. And you got to do more stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to edit the audio portions for an unboxing with the second audio channel that I was putting on here. And it's kind of a pain, but I got to thinking though, too bad I can't just translate these into other languages. You know, with all the modern things of YouTube, the one thing YouTube does not have is where I can put a second, like let's say I want to speak in French. Why can't I do that here? You know, why can't I just have maybe Spanish or something? Have somebody record a Spanish version of this build and just have that done. You know, that would be pretty cool. Why doesn't YouTube do that? I don't know. I wish I could do second and third audio channels. That would be pretty cool there. Okay, we're going to build 2 flowers. Well, I'm glad now I read. So yeah, it tells you to build 2. So what I'm going to do here is just put 2 studs on here now. Looks like a little bug, huh? Stick that on there and just pop that right off. Okay, I'll show you how I'm doing that there if you didn't see it the last thing. Like that, and just kind of do that and just wiggle them off. Okay, and now we got to put 2 of the studs together. So I got to do that twice. Do that on one of the faces. And now we're going to have to do the daunting task of doing 8 of these. So we're just going to do all 8 of them now. So if you want, you can fast forward. If you don't want to fast forward, I'll probably just talk or something. I don't know. Yeah, speaking of flowers, though, I got some seeds for some flowers and stuff I need to grow in my flower gardens, even though they're trying to frown upon us to have any kind of nice yards out here now. A lot of people now are letting their lawns go to crap, and a lot of them have taken out their landscaping out here, or in trees. Like I said, in a previous installment, I'm the only one out here that's got a tree in my yard. And I know in certain states, I think in Nevada, they'll actually pay you, or they'll take a lot off your property taxes if you just take out your yard and any type of vegetation. Out here, they haven't gotten to that point yet. It's just volunteer. And I remember one time I had one of my neighbors says, "When are you going to start taking out your yard and stuff?" He goes, "It's kind of getting to that point." I said, when they start taking money off of property taxes, I'm not going to take out a yard and stuff like that. You know, the whole point about having a home is to make it feel like home. I don't want to walk outside and I feel like I'm in a desert, you know. And I mean, I have a drip system and stuff. It takes very little water. And some people even resorted to the fact of using AstroTurf out here or paint their grass. There's one guy who had just poured blacktop in his front yard and painted it green. So he needs to spruce it up. He just goes out there and resprays it. You know, I mean, to each his own. I heard the AstroTurf, if it rains and stuff, it gets moldy underneath. You could tell the yards that have it because they got the little surface drains in the lawn for the water to rain off. My house is on a slight little hill, so the water would just run down to the curb if it rains. But I have a lawn, so I don't have to worry about that. But a lot of the guys who have the desert scapes, their yards they'll just flood out where I have the vegetation. And you can tell the ones that have the desert yards, because when you see it rain, you'll see a bunch of mud coming down the gutter. And you'll see where it's just the sky. Like one of my neighbors, his yard's starting to wash away. He's thinking about putting a wall up to raise it up and level it out. I'm like, you know, that's the whole thing about it. Matter of fact, speaking of that, of the rain, there was a rock slide close to me, And I'm glad I was off from work at the time because there would be no way to get out of here except a 2-hour drive. And yeah, so that wasn't too fun. But that's how it is. Oh, got one more of these little boogers to make. Yeah, but California's been getting hit hard. Not in my area, though, but we're experiencing the aftermath of a lot of things. It cracks me up today. People will still drive in a flooded road. I've approached roads before, and they've been covered with water, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just turn around and wait it out or something like that, and that's what I'll do. And essentially just kind of just chill out and stuff like that. Okay, now we got to put these together. I found it was just easier to start in the middle first and then work on the two sides. It's such a lovely color, is cool yellow. I know one of you mentioned, though, this is always a welcoming color. Yes, I totally agree with you. I mean, I am not frowning upon cool yellow whatsoever. More cool yellow bricks and elements is always welcoming and refreshing. Also makes a nice light blonde hair color, too. To get some wigs in that color. There we go. And now we're going to have to put this on. One goes on here. Just going to hold on to it like that. Just wiggle it in. And then the other one goes on this shaft here. Same thing. This one here is going to be kind of hard. So I'm just going to try to hold on to the shaft there. And once I get it seated in just barely, hold on to the base of the shaft and just rotate it in. And this leaf piece is just coming off. Okay, and we are not even close yet. We got rid of almost all the other stuff. And we're not even close to finishing, too. I got one more bag after this. So, and this one here goes right on that right there. So, yeah, now it's starting to buckle. I'm hoping that doesn't break. It's not even on there straight, too. Okay, there we go. All right, that was something I had to hold my breath on. And this one just kind of flops around, just like the last one that we did. And I can't tell what that is there. Well, let's get on it. Let's get it built. And I'm looking for one of those gray shaft things. I did get a comment on my main channel asking, do I ever get tired doing reviews? Yes. I get tired of doing reviews after a while. But it's a good source for parts, but I'm getting tired of building set reviews. Okay. And we got to do another one of these goofy little flowers that we did right here. Yeah, that camera is pretty chatty, but it's pretty sharp though, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on with it. Now I'm glad I'm kind of using a separate audio device, but I just hoping that this new method is not muffled. If it is, then I don't know. I may try the computer next, but I don't have a long cord to run to a microphone. I have a Yeti mic, but I don't have no way to, effectively make it record better. There we go. There's the flower. And then that goes right in that hole right here. I don't know if those are critical or not. This goes here. There we go. All right. Still got a couple things to attach to there. Well, we're not that far yet, because now we got to attach this onto that there. How much of a problem is that going to be? All right, let's see here. I'm going to have to peel some stuff and bend it up a little bit here. And just hope that I can put that on there without nothing breaking off. All right. I think I got it seated on there all the way. Yeah. Basically, it's just tiers of plates at this point. So we got a little bit of a hole there, so something's going to be attached to that area, and that's what we're building there. I'm not familiar with flowers, so I don't know. But here's something you don't really ever see is nougat or flesh tone. Well, not that. In fact, that's lighter than my skin. Yeah. So I think that's just light nougat, 2x2 round plate with cross hole. And then, yeah, we don't have a lot left, huh, for this bag. I wish it was done. I think the last bag is to tie all this together to fortify that part of the build. And yes, you do see correctly, an orange ingot goes there. I must be using that for clearance for the side or something. And a nose cone. Remember I had that spare nose cone in one of these bins. So when I was doing the thumbnail for the unboxing, I think that might have rolled off. So there we are. And this goes in here like that. So I'm taking it, this goes in there. All right, now we got to do 4 assemblies here. Yeah, I'd like to do a really good, I want to do another house project or a restaurant. When you start building other creations from Lego designers, you appreciate your own work, you know. Like, I really want to get into doing that. But somebody did ask me, though, would you ever do this as a job? No. Being a Lego designer would be pretty cool, but I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to go move to another country to do that. That's the thing. I'd probably get homesick and be like, oh, be just another job at that point. Okay, well, how do these even attach here? Okay, they attach the parabolic ring like this. Yeah, they're kind of crooked right now. And it kind of shows how it is in the manual too. They're not lined up with one another. And okay, then we kind of move these up here like that. And that's what it shows here. It was kind of scary at first, but there we are. And then these here snap into the brown clips. Which way do they go in? Let's see here. So it looks like this pin, part of the pin here on the right hand side goes in here like this, and you swing it up. And there's some information we got to read too, so we'll get to that eventually here. That's kind of pretty, huh? Probably a dried rose. All right, let's see what this information has to say here. And the intricate rose construction used new mud guard elements for the inner petals and a new shell element for the outer petals. So we kind of figure those other pieces were mud guards. These right here, and these are the shells. And that is it, my friends, for bag 6. This is what we have remaining. Now we are going to, well, I got one more thing left to do before we move on. This is supposed to go here. Let's stick that in there. I knew I forgot to do something. So it goes right in there with the ingot towards the top. So hold my breath and hope I get that in, or just wiggle that in there, and I think that's fine. If it's in there and it doesn't move, the best thing to do is not touch that at all. It may come out. So bag 7 doesn't really tell us here. It's this piece that goes in the middle. So there's one piece that ties these two together, and that's it. So not a whole lot in that one, huh? So eventually we're gonna marry these two pieces together here. So let's get this done and we can get it out of here, huh? All right. And of course, those friction pins are going to be used for that, obviously, huh? Not a whole lot left in the set. So in closing, we're just going to talk about part of it now, but for the most part, I'd say the build was average. I think it was more the colors than anything else. No stickers, so we didn't have to fight a sticker sheet. Some things were flaking off, but usually that happens on most Lego sets. I'd say the build experience was just average. It was nothing special to write home about. And it kind of feels like this is one thing I don't like doing on reviews, is grading another creator's design. One of the things that I cannot see is what was in the designer's head at the time when he or she built these sets. I can't tell. What were they thinking at the time? What was their intent on building this set? And I'm missing one of these here. So I got to go pull all these parts out of here to find it. If not, I'll have to dig through my junk bin, because those are pieces that I commonly don't even use. So I don't think I've seen those anywhere else. So I think I may be missing, oh, here it is right there, sitting on its side. Never mind. But I just don't like grading somebody else's work. You understand where I'm coming from with this one. Some people do that to me, that's fine. They can do that all they want. You have the freedom to do that. I've never had anybody ever do a review on one of my tutorials. That would be something different, to do a review on one of my tutorials. Sometimes it would be nice to know, was the build experience pleasant? Was there something that I did? Some of you told me that, some of my builds do drag out, so I tried not to have them drag out as much. So I use speed builds through tiles and repetitious stuff. Like, okay, we're going to do 10 of these. Well, why build 10 of them when I can just build one and say, okay, make 10? So that's the whole issue here. So, indeed, this is meant to be expanded on. So you can make a bigger centerpiece if you want to make it larger too. And take the piece with the petal or the rose, and we're going to stick this right here. Alrighty. Hold our breath. But I'm going to hold it right here. And then I'm just going to set this in. And the pins do that, obviously. Okay. Just make sure you're not holding on to the flowers. Just make sure you're strictly holding on to the plates here. You can see where it's meant to be hanged on the wall. Those nails would have to stick out pretty far for that to be effective, huh? All right, then you got to slide the other piece in. We still got lots of pieces left, so I'm assuming that the rest of this is probably for fortification. All right, let's read the information here. Maybe it'll tell us how to put this together here. Dried flowers are sometimes preserved using a thin wax. The shiny elements to this were chosen to replace that wax looks. The shiny elements. All right. Okay. very careful. I'm going to pick this up here. And the best thing to do is maybe have a partner help you with this. So how am I going to do this by myself? Very carefully here. And we got to marry these two things together. So, and as you can see, things are starting to buckle up here in this corner. So let me kind of remove and twist and turn that out of the way. We don't need to have any catastrophic problems here. Requires half an hour to fix. So there we go. Here, get that pumpkin right there. And let's get that right up on that just to be safe. And it looks pretty good. And this is what it looks like at the bottom. And I think the last pieces are meant to fill that in there. Okay. I was holding my breath there for a second. I did not want to risk breaking that. So we take some 2x5s, and how do we do this? Now it's going to be pretty challenging, so I need to find something to set this on to where I can work on this more efficiently. And trying to find a big container around here or something tall. All right, we're going to use a butter dish here, and maybe best if I set it upside down. Now I can easily move around with that there. Okay, and well, since we're doing this, I'm going to have to refocus. Why don't I use autofocus? Because the camera will go all spazzy on us. All right. So when you're working on this, you want to just be very careful. These are going to go right here. So just have to be very careful and work that in slow. And then we got to do that again. And I don't know what happened. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, and then pick that up again. This one's not too bad. I can easily get to this one here. There might be more to this, so I got to be careful. Okay. And we're doing some kind of frame here. Okay, but what does that do? Do we need to build 2 of those or 1? Okay, what is this? Oh, now it's telling me to take those off and take it apart. Oh, okay, I see what this is for. This is so you can split it apart. We're going to go ahead and build that real quick. I'm not taking that apart, so we're just going to build this real quick. And that was their intent there. Let me slide that out of the way so I can get a better focus on it here. I looked at that and I thought, oh no, we're not going to go risk that. I'm not taking that apart. Reminds me of one of those goofy Mario sets. Oh, you put this all together? You're going to have to take that all apart now. That ain't going to happen, I'll tell you that much. We'll just build a little stand for it. So I guess if you have a corner on a wall or something, you can hang it, or you could just display it on a corner. Maybe put it around something. Maybe if you had a couple of these, you could probably wrap it around already an existing flower arrangement. But I saw that and I thought, oh no, we are not taking that apart again. And yeah, so indeed, this is meant as an expansion piece for the build. So you can get more of these if you want and make it bigger. And they said it's only meant to handle 1 set. Well, I think I'd only be able to handle building 1 of these, and that was it. So if I want to build the second one and do that, I would have to buy that myself. And yeah, it's not really my thing here. And that's it. So this is pretty much done right there. Okay. And basically, we'll walk through this real quick. It tells you to take these plates off here. Oh, excuse me, take out the centerpiece. You can do it like this, and this is what you're left with here. So basically, you're meant to do stuff like that. So you'd actually have to buy maybe 2 or 3 of these sets for that to look good. Well, we ain't buying 2 or 3 of these sets. I'm just going to leave it at that. So that's up to you to... Of course, you can always expand on it and stuff like that too. And this is what was remaining for bag 7. And now I'm going to go ahead and get into the review portion of this. We can take this off now. I may put that on a turntable. That's if I can find it, which I can't. So we'll just do it like this, as is. And that's essentially what you get for $49.99 with the brick separator. So let's refocus before we get into the review here, because I'm going to be doing the formal review and a thumbnail pretty much here. So we get the stand here. It's meant to take apart. I'm not going to do it. So let's dive right on in. So the build quality, yeah, for the most part, it's pretty average. Some of the stuff can flake off, so once you put it on there, you put it on there. Right? So you don't really want to mess with this stuff too much. You can tweak it up, but just a word of caution, it's just, you don't really want to mess with it too much. Build experience. Yeah, I'd say the build experience on this was pretty average. The colors just make it bland. It just, I don't know, it just feels like an average Lego build to me. It looks pretty, but imagine if you swapped all this out with some really fun, colorful pieces. Replace these with coral, put some nice bright green in here, and yeah, I think this would look good as a desk ornament or something for the centerpiece of a dining room table, or one of those console tables, a hall table. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, but for me though, it was just average building experience. You know, Lego City, not really. Some of the plants like these you could drop in. Like this here or this, you wouldn't really be able to drop that in there. So I wouldn't really mess with that. Putting it in the city. Mocks, well, you can put this on here, make a couple more of these, and make your own flower arrangements and just kind of make it random. Would look really good. So if you want to spend the time and buy 2 more of these and do that whole process up to a total of 3 times, be my guest. So it does come with this too. I really don't see the need of this, though, to be honest. And for play value, it's not really playable. You really can't do anything with it. It's just meant as a decoration. So for me personally, though, just by looking at this, it's unique. It looks pretty. But would I jump out and buy something like this? Probably not. That's just for me anyways. A lot of these are pretty good for the most part, but I think it's just the colors. The colors are driving me away from this build, so I don't know. So tell me what you guys and gals think. You know, is this something pretty cool? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching this second installment of the Dried Flower Centerpiece by Lego Icons Botanical Collection, set number 10314.